Hello, I'm Laura Weissman and welcome to Psyched About Love. Tonight we're going to talk about what's love got to do with it, or how it is that we attract our soulmates into our lives. Well, one of the first things we think about is all the fairy tales that we've grown up with. The prince met the princess, they fell in love, and they all lived, you can say it with me now, happily ever after. And then we grew up watching Hollywood movies that say pretty much the same thing, which doesn't help us very much because we think that once we fall in love and find our soulmate, it will be happily ever after. Now, that's not to say that it won't, but just know that happily ever after requires a lot of work, and that perfect partner, that soulmate of yours, may not be exactly what you were hoping for as perfect. So let me tell you a little story about Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill show up at a party. Jill gets there first. She's walking around. She's talking to guys. They're very nice. Some of them are very cute. And none of them are doing it for her. And then Jack walks in the room. And just like the Hollywood movies, they see each other across the room. They walk towards each other. They start chatting. They sit down on the sofa and they spend the rest of the party talking to each other. And they're making comments like, wow, this is so weird. It feels like I've known you my whole life. Because they have. What do I mean by that? We attract our partners into our lives because there's unfinished business that we have from childhood. And with the perfect partner, we can go back and work on that unfinished business, on those childhood wounds, with a partner who's willing to do that work with us. So back to Jack and Jill. Jill grew up at home with her father, who was an alcoholic, and he was a pretty nice guy. When he was drunk, he would promise her the moon, and she learned that he never delivered. And because he was an active alcoholic, he wasn't really there for her emotionally, because he was really just focused on himself and what he needed. So she learned some lessons about love that she brought with her. And when she met Jack, that magic radar said, I know this. This feels just like home. And no matter how dysfunctional home is when you're a child, it's our first idea of what love is supposed to look like. It's what home looks like. And we're comfortable. So when her little magic radar went around the room and they locked eyes, she said, yeah, this is the guy. And he is. Because with Jack, she can go back and heal all of this stuff. Let me get back to the story. Okay, so Jack and Jill meet. He pursues her. They have this wonderful romance. They go up to wine country for the weekend. He flies her to Paris for a long weekend. And she's just completely blown away. Absolutely romanced to the max. And about a year later, he proposes, and she thinks, finally, I've met my Prince Charming. Now, along the way, she's noticed that sometimes she's made dinner for him, and at the last minute, he calls, and honey, I'm really sorry, I've got this important business meeting. And she's very understanding, because the truth is she's very impressed that he's such a successful businessman. And there are days that he doesn't call because, again, he's such a success. She understands. So they get married, and this is the part where they get to live happily ever after, right? No. This is when the power struggle starts. So he's not changed. He's still working very hard. He's not often available for her. And even when he is with her, often he's so distracted with his very important business deals and with his traveling that he really can't be there with her. And she begins to feel the exact same things that she felt with her father. Sad, unimportant, not cared about. Has he changed? No. And so they come together to heal these things, because in a conscious relationship, that's exactly the work that you're supposed to do. Because when you choose to grow and work on this, you can. So know that your perfect partner is not always what you thought he would be, that conflict will inevitably arise, because conflict is growth waiting to happen. So when there is conflict, don't think of that as, oh, he doesn't make me happy anymore, she doesn't make me happy anymore. Know that this is exactly the motivation to restore you to wholeness, to healing. Embrace the growth, embrace the conflict, because it is just growth waiting to happen. Of course, it will be challenging, but it's in working out these challenges that the real growth, the real love, the real connection, and the real healing happens. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.